Hello students, in this slides I am going to discuss about the interference phenomena, which are exhibited by the wave nature of light. So what is this interference here? The modification in the distribution of light energy due to the superposition of two or more waves of a light is called as interference of a light. That means if two waves are superimposed, so let us take this is called as interference. Because of superimpose, crest falls on a crest, intensity increase, trough falls on a trough, intensity increase, crest falls on a trough, intensity decrease. This phenomena already you learnt in the 11th wave chapter. So the same phenomena is occurring here if you consider the light as a wave. The modification in the redistribution of light energy due to the superposition of two or more waves of the light itself is called as interference of a light. So see this, two sources are emitting the light. Here brightness and darkness are there, that is nothing but because of a crust and a troughs forming, and while they are reaching, you can see here this will become the brighter, and these are spots are brighter on the screen which are appearing in this way, so which are in the constant phase or constant phase difference. Thomas Young studied the interference of a light for the first time. As the result of interference, there are alternative dark and bright fringes regions are observed, and they are called as the interference bands or interference fringes. So on the screen, alternative dark and bright fringes are appearing. Some of the common effects due to the interference. The color pattern observed on the soap bubble is due to interference of a light, and the color patterns observed on the oil spills on wet road in a sunlight is nothing but it is because of interference. Types of interference. First one, constructive interference. Second one, destructive interference. We will see the constructive interference. At the point where crest of one wave falls upon the crest of the other, or trough of one wave falls on the trough of other, the resultant amplitude is large. This phenomena you studied in 11th, superposition of waves. If a crest falls on a crest, trough falls on a trough, the resultant intensity increase because resultant amplitude is more. Okay, and intensity becomes maximum. This type of interference is called as constructive interference. Now, what is this destructive interference? At the point where crest of one wave falls upon the trough of other, or the trough of one wave falls on the crest of other, the resultant amplitude is minimum, and hence intensity becomes minimum. This type of interference is called destructive interference. Does the law of conservation of energy holds good in interference? The question arises because law of conservation of energy is the universal law. Energy conservation, that is, energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can transfer from one form to another form. In this case, the light whatever we are using, that split into two parts, and the resultant on the screen you are getting the patterns, fringe patterns, alternative dark and bright fringes. So here the question arises whether the conservation of energy holds good or not. Yes, here also conservation of energy holds good. From some place the light is taken and in other place it is given. So where it is taken, that place will become empty now, that is darkness. And where it is given, that is maximum intense. So like this alternative dark and bright fringes are appearing. So in the phenomena of interference, there is only transfer of energy from one region to another. The energy missing at one region appears at the other. There is no creation or destruction of energy at any region as the result of superposition. Hence, the phenomena of interference obeys law of conservation of energy. Now, coherent sources. Basic terminologies in the coherent sources are coherent time. The time period of the wave train emitted by the individual atom of a luminous body is called as coherent time. It is about 10 to the power of minus 8 seconds. That is nothing but when it goes to the higher orbit, when the electrons are going to the higher orbit, when it will stay there for a 10 to the power of minus 8 second, and within that time it will return back. While coming back, it will emit the radiation. That is nothing but the wave, and that is nothing but how much time it will take to come out, that is time period. Coherent length. wavelength of the wave train emitted by the atoms of a luminous body is called as a coherent length. Coherent length is lambda, that is with the velocity of a light into time period, that will become the distance, therefore it is called as coherent length. And velocity of a light in a free space is 3 into 10 to the power of 8, and time here t, that is 10 to the power of minus 8, that gives rise to the value of 3 meter. So coherent length is 3 meter. Coherent waves, waves between which phase difference is either constant or zero, are called as a coherent waves. Interference pattern is observed only when the light waves belongs to superimposed or coherent. So sources should be coherent, then only interference is occurring. Non-coherent waves, waves between which phase difference changes at random, are called as non-coherent waves. When we consider two independent sources or two separate parts of the same source constantly in a phase cannot be expected. Only general illumination will be observed on the screen. That is why we cannot produce interference with two independent sources of light. Two light sources are said to be coherent if they emit the light waves of the same frequency which have zero or a constant phase difference. Ways of obtaining two coherent sources. So if two sources are not acting as a coherent sources, then how to produce this coherent source? First one, both the sources receiving light from the same source, as in the case of Young's double slit experiment. So in a Young's double slit experiment, you saw that one, a single source splitted into two parts by two openings or two slits. A screen with the two holes in it placed in the path of the beam emerging from the laser, whose light output is extremely monochromatic, intense and highly collimated. See here, it is a monochromatic light. Monochromatic light means you might have seen the laser light as a red or a green. Anyway, so red colored when we are using, that is a unidirectional, right? Intense, highly intense and unidirectional. Collimated means it is unidirectional. Monochromatic means single colored. So that is very necessary, and we are using two holes to pass through this one. Particular beam is passed through these two holes and it acts as a two sources once again. Second one, a source along with its virtual image, as in the case of a Bloyd's single mirror. Third one, two virtual images of the same sources, as in the case of Fresnel's biprism. Condition for sustained interference. To observe the phenomena of sustained or continuous interference of a light waves at a place, the following conditions must be fulfilled. First one, the source of a light must be coherent. Second one, the amplitude of the two interfering wave strains should be equal. Third one, the two sources should be narrow. Fourth one, the two sources should be close to each other. Fifth one, distance of the screen from the source should be large. The sources of the light should be monochromatic, otherwise colored fringes would be produced. Remember this one. If a monochromatic light is taken, all the fringes are bright fringes are of the same color. If instead of that one white beam is used, so color patterns are appearing on the fringes here. Theory of interference. Consider a monochromatic source of a light S emitting the waves of wavelength lambda and narrow slit A and B at the equal distance. See here, this is A, this is B, so which are separated by distance D, and this source is kept here. So it is kept such that the rays are coming here, planar wavefront. When two openings are there, through that one they are moving and it emerges the light like wavefronts here, right? After when it creates the wavefront, they are meeting at particular place. It may be bright or dark. Okay. The waves emerging from the slit A and B are in the phase and have the same frequency and amplitude at all times. Therefore, light sources A and B are coherent sources. Let A naught be the amplitude of each wave. Suppose the phase difference arriving at P on the screen is pi. then the wave can be represented as y1 is equal to a naught cos omega t, and second wave y2 is equal to a naught cos omega t plus phi. According to superposition principle, the displacement y of the resultant wave is y is equal to y1 plus y2. We are substituting the value a cos omega t plus a cos omega t plus phi. So from the equation, sin cos c plus cos d is equal to 2 cos of c plus d divided by 2 into cos of c minus d divided by 2. This implies 2a cos, where a is taken outside. The first cos omega t is taken as cos c, and cos omega t plus phi is taken as cos d. So a is taken outside. So 2 times of cos 2 omega t plus phi, by adding omega t plus phi, it will become 2 omega t plus phi divided by 2 into cos of c minus d, omega t minus of omega t plus phi, like that we can take. So here it will become cos phi by 2. So 2 and the outside a is there, so combined of that one 2a is coming outside. Okay, so 2a cos phi by 2 into cos of omega t plus phi by 2. The resultant amplitude is pi by 2 into 2a cos phi by 2, that is r, resultant amplitude. So where phi by 2 is a phase difference. Resultant intensity at P. Intensity at any point is directly proportional to square of the amplitude. Amplitude R of the resultant wave is given by 2a naught into cos phi by 2. I is proportional to 2a cos phi by 2 whole the square. IR is equal to 4a square cos square phi by 2 by taking a square. Let I naught be the intensity at P due to the light from one of the slits. I naught can be taken as a naught square. IR divided by I naught is, it will become 4 cos square pi by 2, or IR is equal to 4 I naught into cos square pi by 2. The above equation gives the resultant intensity IR at P due to the light from the both slits. It is clear that IR at P depends upon the phase difference phi between the two waves reaching the point. Constructive and destructive interference. Case 1. Condition for constructive interference. When constructive interference occurs at P, resultant will be maximum. From equation IR is equal to 4 I naught into cos square phi by 2, we know that the resultant intensity will be maximum. That is IR is equal to 4 I naught. See, we know that resultant intensity will be maximum means phi by 2 value should be 0, or it is the even multiple of phi also we can take. Okay, so if it is a 0, 0 means what will happen? So 0 means cos 0 is 1, so it is maximum. So IR is equal to 4 I naught. When cos square phi by 2 is equal to plus or minus 1 we can take, because by taking a square it will become plus only. Phi by 2 implies it must be 0. Yes, 1 pi, as I told, it is an even multiple. Okay, this is the integer. So 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, or pi is equal to 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, 6 pi. See, pi value will become even multiple of pi only, or phi is equal to, general format we will write n into 2 pi, where n starts from 0, 1, 2. Therefore, for a constructive interference, path difference delta as phase 2 pi corresponds to the wavelength lambda. So, phase difference is n into 2 pi. Path difference will become n lambda, where n is equal to 0, 1. Case 2. Condition for destructive interference. When destructive interference occurs at P, resultant intensity at that point is minimum. From equation IR is equal to 4 I naught into cos square phi by 2, we know that the resultant intensity will be minimum. That is IR is equal to 0. When cos square phi by 2 is equal to 0, then phi by 2 implies that it should be pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, and so on, odd multiple of 5 by 2. So, or So pi can be written as pi 3 pi 5 pi. Then phi value will become odd multiple of 5 only. In general format, if I write, it will become 2n plus 1 into 5, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, and like this, so on. Therefore, for a destructive interference, path difference delta, if it is written, delta phi is equal to 2n plus 1 phi, then corresponding path difference lambda will become 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. Interference of a waves with a different amplitudes. Interference of two waves with a different amplitudes. When two waves have a different amplitudes A0 and B0, where A0 is more than B0, the resultant amplitude can be written as R square is equal to A0 square plus B0 square plus 2 times of A0 B0 into cos phi. Then resultant intensity IR is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 times of root I1 I2 cos phi, where I1 and I2 are the intensity due to the individual slits. For constructive interference, phi value should be equal to 0, so that cos phi is 1. Resultant amplitude R can be written as under root A0 square plus B0 square plus 2 times of A0 B0 into cos phi, where cos phi value is 1 means its value will become under root A0 square plus B0 square plus 2 A0 B0. It can be written as A0 plus B0. Resultant intensity IR is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 times of root I1 I2 into cos phi, where cos phi value is 1. So we are not substituted here. So this is the resultant intensity. For a destructive interference, phi value is equal to 180 degree. Cos 180 degree is minus 1. So resultant amplitude will become R is equal to under root A0 square plus B0 square plus 2 times of A0 B0 into cos phi. Cos phi value is minus 1. So the answer of this one comes as A0 square plus B0 square minus 2 A0 B0 under root and A0 square minus B0 square whole square. A0 minus B0 whole the square under root. When root get cancelled, A0 minus B0 remains. Resultant intensity IR is equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 times of root I1 I2 into cos 180, that will become minus 1. So I1 plus I2 minus 2 times of root I1 I2. So this is the resultant intensity. Slit width. The intensity of a light from the slit is directly proportional to the width of the slit. If a width size is more, intensity of light coming out of it is more. So if W1 and W2 are the width of the two slits from which the intensity of a light are I1 and I2 respectively, then W1 by W2 is equal to I1 by I2, because intensity is proportional to slit width. So A0 square divided by B0 square. This is nothing but the relation we can read here. Young's double slit experiment, arrangement and observations. See, he is the person, Thomas Young. He performed the famous experiment. His name is the Young's double slit experiment in 1801, and this disproved the Newton's rectilinear propagation of light. Experimental arrangements. S represent the pinhole illuminated by the source of monochromatic light. A and B are the two narrow slits close to each other and equidistant from source. And another S is the screen, which is placed at a certain distance. Cylindrical wavefronts sent out from the source S arrives at A and B. A wave of same frequency, same amplitude and with a zero phase difference emerge out from A and B. These waves interfere each other. As the result, bright and dark fringes are formed on the screen. In case of crest of one wave falls on a crest of other and trough of one wave falls on a trough of other, represent the constructive interference, which becomes maximum at B0. and it is called as central maximum. On moving away from central of the screen, at a point D1 and D2, crest of one falls on the trough of other or vice versa, leading to destructive interference or creation of dark fringes. Again at points B1 and B2, crest of one falls on a crest of other, leading to the constructive interference or creation of bright fringes on the screen. Thus, alternative bright and dark fringes called fringes appear at a equal spacing on the screen. So these are the bright and dark alternative fringes appearing on the screen. Experimental observations of Young's double slit experiment. When one of the slits is closed, the interference pattern disappears. When a slit width is decreased, the fringe width increases. Fringe width increases when distance between the slit and the screen is increased. The fringe width is directly proportional to the wavelength of the incident light. The fringe width is not affected by the intensity of the incident light. All bright and dark fringes are equally spaced. All bright fringes are equally bright. All dark fringes are equally dark. Fringe width. The distance between two consecutive bright or two dark fringes is called as fringe width. Expression for the fringe width. We want to derive the expression for it. The distance between any two consecutive bright or dark fringes is called as fringe width. So this is the diagram for this, where A and B act as a two sources which are called as coherent sources. Okay. So this is a diagram where D, small d is the slit width, capital D is the distance of the screen from the slit. Okay. O is the central maximum position. Let us consider P is at a point X from the central maximum. Consider two coherent sources A and B separated a distance of D here. Okay, small d is the separation distance. Capital D is the distance of the screen from a slit here. Okay. Let the light wave coming from A and B reach the point O in the same phase. Okay, on the screen traveling equal distances. So path difference from here to here and here to here will become 0. So they meet at O in a phase and hence constructive interference is appearing at O. Let P be the point on the screen and X is from O. Path difference between the two waves A and B at P is given by BP minus AP. Okay, from triangle BPN, BP square is equal to BN square plus PN square. By substituting the values, Bn square will become D square plus Np can be written as x plus D by 2. So x plus D by 2 and whole the square. This is equation 1. Similarly, so from the triangle APM, AP square is equal to AM square plus PM square. And PM can be written as x minus D by 2. By substituting the values, AM is D square plus MP can be written as x minus D by 2 whole square. This is equation 2. Therefore, BP square minus AP square is equal to D square plus x plus D by 2 square minus D square plus x minus D by 2 square. So BP minus AP into BP minus plus AP, because the above equation whatever you are written, it is in the form of A square minus B square. This gives rise to x plus D by 2 square minus of x minus D by 2 square. This gives rise to 4 times of x into d by 2. So that is nothing but 2xd. So Bp minus Ap is equal to 2xd divided by Bp plus Ap. Bp minus Ap is equal to 2xd divided by 2d. 2 and 2 get cancelled, gives rise to xd divided by d. Thus, path difference delta can be written as xd divided by capital D. Bp is nearly equal to Ap, that is taken as nearly equal to D, since D is very small compared to D and P is very close to O. So now for the bright fringes at P, the path difference can be taken as n lambda, that is the integral multiple of lambda, xd divided by d, that is a path difference which is equal to n lambda. So by this x value we can find, that is n lambda d divided by small d. This is the equation for the distance of x for the bright fringe. In general, distance of nth bright fringe from the center of the screen is xn is equal to n lambda capital D divided by d. Distance of nth bright fringe is given by xn is equal to n lambda d divided by small d. Distance of n minus 1th, that is 1 less than that one of the bright fringe, is given by xn minus 1 is equal to n minus 1 lambda d divided by small d. Therefore, fringe width can be written as distance between two consecutive bright fringes, that is xn minus of xn minus 1. Beta is equal to lambda n lambda d divided by small d minus of n minus 1 lambda d divided by small d. So this gives rise to beta value lambda d divided by small d into n plus 1 minus n and n get cancelled. So answer will become lambda capital D divided by small d. So problems on reflection and refraction of the light wave. First question, the refractive index of the glass is 1.5. What is the speed of the light in a glass? Speed of a light in vacuum is given by 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So we are given here that refractive index of the glass is 1.5, speed of light in vacuum is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. If V is the speed of the light in the medium, the glass medium, then V is equal to C divided by refractive index mu. That gives rise to 3.0 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 1.5. Answer will become 2 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. That is the speed of light in glass medium. Second one, the monochromatic light of wavelength 589 nanometer is incident from air on a wet surface. What are the wavelength, frequency and speed of first one reflected, second one refracted light? Refractive index of water is 1.33. Here lambda is given 589 nanometer, that is 589 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. So refractive index given, that is 1.33, and the speed of light in vacuum is known, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter. First one, the reflected light. The speed, wavelength and frequency of the reflected light remains the same as that of the incident light because it is moving in the homogeneous medium again after reflection. Now C is equal to 3.0 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Lambda given 589 nanometer, and we know the frequency nu can be written as C by lambda. This gives rise to 3.0 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 589 into 10 to the power of minus 9. So that is equal to 5.09 into 10 to the power of 14 Hertz. Second one, a refracted light. If V is the speed of the light in water, speed of light in water is equal to speed of light in vacuum divided by refractive index. 3.0 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 1.33. This gives rise to 2.26 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Since the frequency is a characteristic of the source. It does not change with a change in medium. So that is nu is equal to 5.09 into 10 to the power 14 hertz. Wavelength of the refracted light, lambda dash is equal to V divided by nu, 2.26 into 10 to the power of 8 divided by 5.09 into 10 to the power 14. This gives rise to 444 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter. That means wavelength changes in the second medium. So that is 440. Thank you.